However, the story that you were told where he was just pulled over for an air freshener and just shot point blank for no reason is obviously not true.
Right.
This is now the body cam footage from the female police officer on the arrest of Dante Wright. So look, the officer has him there. I don't know, is that the black officer there, quarterback Eric? Because there was one black officer. That is.
Yeah, that's him.
And then as soon as he passes him to the woman, shuts her off, gone. I'll tase you, she says. She's yelling, taser, taser. Yeah. So we have a few takeaways here. Let me be clear about a few things. Now that we've seen the footage, race obviously had nothing to do with it, okay?
Yeah.
The female officer seems less than capable, and if you have warrants out for your arrest, don't violently resist arrest. Now, that being said, let me be really clear. If this, whether male or female officer, tried to arrest him and he shucked them off that way and ran into the car where he could be reaching for a gun and they said, hey, freeze, I'll shoot, and they shot him, I would argue that it's justified at that point because many cops are killed in those exact scenarios. They get run over. A vehicle is a weapon. A gun is a weapon. The issue here is the accidental shooting and the woman who didn't know the difference between a taser and a firearm. And not only that, her partner crosses that line of sight on the barrel like 3 times. This woman was a danger to herself and her partners. And I will tell you this is the issue that I have with female officers. Oh, can you say, look, what is a female cop going to do if not shoot, whether it's a taser or a gun? That guy clearly said, oh, this is my chance. The second he was passed from the big burly male officer to the female yelling, taser, 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 and couldn't even tell that she had a loaded firearm aimed at her own partner. This is something that I think is pretty important. It relates to everything. I was talking about this with you yesterday. It relates to feminism and how they've lied to women. We see this with obviously the female officers, women in the military, where they create gender-neutral fitness tests, and then more women fail. So they say, well, we'll have a gender-neutral test, which we already lowered the bar to make sure that more women could pass. But now we're going to take into account biological differences. And then, by the way, if you claim to be a woman and you're a man, you can take the gender-neutral but biologically different test. Yeah, we want you to go to the front lines, and you don't have to do a tummy tuck, just do planks. Good. September 11th, that'll keep the terrorists shuddering in their boots, if they have boots over there, shuddering in their sandals.
Especially when you tell them you're not watching them on the anniversary.
Right.
We're out of here.
I can't believe you forgot our anniversary. Oh, come on, at least a dinner or something. So
I made 2 cakes.
Well, I made 2 cakes. It's just sand compounded. Here's the thing. We convince young women that they add value in ways that they don't, because we convince young women that they add value in ways that a man would add value. So let's use this with a female officer there, okay? And I know this isn't a rookie. She's been on the force for over 2 decades, from what I understand.
To be clear, she's the one holding the gun yelling taser.
She's the one holding the gun yelling taser, taser, taser. Yes, exactly. So I don't know how she slipped through the cracks, but I have a guess. We have lower PT requirements, for example, in the military until we became gender neutral. We want to have quotas being filled. For example, United Airlines saying, half of our pilots are going to be women of color, even though they make up 6% of the population. Hey, how about having the most capable pilots? But we can, this woman probably goes out. You see this a lot with women in the military, women in police force saying, look, I aced my exam. Well, great. You now have reached the bottom rung of average men in physical capability. You can't physically subdue somebody, so you have to shoot them. So you have to tase them. Men want a partner in the police force who can watch their back. They don't care that you did well for a woman. They want the most capable person there humanly possible. You add no value if you did the female push-ups. You add no value if you scored off the charts on a written exam, if you panic in the field. But here's the thing. When you're trying to empower women by saying they can be as good as a man, and you're convincing them to try and work on these character traits, right? These accomplishments that actually are of no value, you strip them of an area where they're more valuable than men. Think about it. What if that female was the best dispatcher that exists? What if she was the best paramedic? What if she was the best detective? There is no reason that a woman cannot be more capable than a man. And guess what? Every single man on that force would say, I want her watching my back. Why? Because she's the best. The same thing with women in the military. This is the same issue that we have with women right now in the sexual marketplace, as it's called, right? When we're talking about dating. I just read some recent stat that women over the age of 35 in the next couple of years, like over 50% of them will be single without kids.
Wow.
And they think it's a problem with men. Look, women now, and this is one thing, you'll have a Change My Mind coming out Monday. I have never been treated so as by young college-age women.
wow.
Remember that girl said your face is pollution? I said, why would you say that? She's like, I just got into the master's program.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm not talking to you.
Okay, Biden. I mean, how is
Yeah,
that
exactly.
non sequitur? But with young women, think, I don't know why I don't have a man. I have a great job. I'm super I'm authoritative. I'm a self-starter. I have a PhD. And men go, I don't care. But you think that matters to a man because that's what women want from a man. Would a woman look at a man if he didn't have a job, if he didn't seem like he was able to provide for a family, if he wasn't at least capable, if he couldn't serve, provide, protect? That's interesting to a woman. It's attractive to a man. Do you know what men think adds value? First off, being attractive and being nice. That's attractive to a man. Why would you say smile more? Because evolutionarily speaking, it's sexually attractive to a man to see a woman smile. Why? Because men used to go out and hunt and gather, and the world was cruel and callous, and they want to come home to a woman who is loving and empathetic, who will be a nice wife and a good mother. That's attractive to a man for the same reason that you, as a woman, prefer men who are tall. And instead, we've told women, you can kick ass like man. You can't. We've told women, hey, you can be a young professional just like a man and have it all. Well, they reach the age of about 30 when their biological clock is ticking. 35, the window closes, and they're not happy. You don't need a man to make you happy. Yeah, they do. And when we talk about choice, too, the big complaint, it's based under this lie with women. And sorry, I know I'm going off here. It's predicated on this lie that, well, I never had a choice, like Ruth Bader Ginsburg says. I never had a choice when I was growing up. We had to be a stay-at-home mom. Actually, I would argue the opposite of that is true. Let me explain. Women never worked. Go back to the war effort. Look at who was popping in rivets. Look at who was people involved with with deciphering code. Most nurses were women. Most teachers were women. The reason most women weren't CEOs of Fortune 500 companies, if that was a thing back then, or multinational corporations, is because they didn't want to work 80 hours a week because they knew they couldn't have a family, and they understood that that was something that would make them happy. And we've lied to women and say, you don't need a man. You'll never want a family. You'll be happy. You can kick ass. You're just as good as a man on the ground in a job that requires physical strength. They're not. Meanwhile, we could be telling them, this is how you add value. This is what will assist other people in your community, men or women. And men, we didn't have a choice, by the way. Hey, let me ask you this. Everyone here is a man. Genuine question, okay? Genuine question. Were you ever provided the choice, or did you ever have a conversation with your dad saying, this is what you do when you grow up, and if you want to have a wife, you can be a stay-at-home dad?
No.
It never came up. No, serious question.
Of course not.
Of course not. No,
It wasn't like, son, you can fail.
Right. Now, with women, it's you can be whatever you want to be. Do you want to be a stay-at-home mom? Now, the lie is you can be all of these things.
Yeah.
But from a very young age, and I say this because I get so many emails, so many messages from confused young men. From a very young age, we have been made aware.
You said you wouldn't talk about
if
that.
If we want to be attractive, if we want to have any of these things that will be fulfilling, that, hey, if you want a woman, if you want a wife, you better provide. And women are not accepting of men who are incapable of that in general.
Watch Louder with Crowder live, Monday through Thursday, 10 a.m. Eastern.